Honda is easy to ride. Even your brother-in-law can master it in minutes. And as for economy, a Honda never gulps gas. Just sips it 200 miles to the gallon. And a Honda costs less to own than a good set of golf clubs. It can hold 45 miles an hour all day without complaining.
On this video, we have the 2017 Honda Civic Si Coupe. It has the SI emblem on the front grille, so all your neighbors will know you forked up the extra money. Same on the rear trunk lid. And that sharp-looking exhaust system lets everybody know this is something special as well. Right off the bat, there are three things I like about this Honda. First of all, the styling. I think this is a very sharp-looking machine. I think it's even more so with the lime green paint. This was a real attention getter on the street, especially when it was parked. Always had a small crowd looking. Surprisingly, most of the onlookers who enjoyed the appearance of the car were kids in grade school level. But they always know what looks great, right? When's the last time you saw a little kid get excited over a Pontiac Aztek? They know. The second thing I like about this vehicle is the engine, a tiny 1.5 liter, but designed to crank out 205 horsepower. This motor loves to rev, wants to be wound out hard, so those of you who like manual transmissions will be happy to know it comes with a 6-speed manual only, no automatic. And the manual transmission and this engine are perfectly suited for each other. Fuel economy is rated at 28 to 38 mpg with an average of 32. So far I've been getting 32 to 37, but we'll be doing more driving to get more accurate figures. And the third feature I like about this vehicle is the price tag. One price, $24,975 with shipping. Flat, that's it. No options, no gimmicks, loaded with everything. Heated seats, leather trim, stereo system, one price for all. The way it should be on a specialty car like this. By the way, Honda usually represents Japanese quality, but these are assembled in Ontario, Canada, and the transmissions come from India. I don't know why you need to know that, but there you go. Now let's look at the cabin, and I can tell you along with the Italian type styling on the outside, we get Italian type quirks on the inside. So let's just cover these and get them out of the way. Number one, the seating position. This roof is rather low, and I'm not a tall person, but I had to adjust the seats all the way down to the floor to keep my head from banging on the roof when I hit bumps. Number two, this clutch pedal has way too much travel, so they stick the pedal up further than the other two pedals. In fact, all three of them don't really match. So when you're moving the seat forward and backwards, you have to spend a lot of time getting the exact position that's going to be comfortable for you. But I did find it for me. Took some doing. And after you dealt with the seat height and the seat forward-backward position, you have to adjust the steering wheel, but fortunately there's a lot of adjustment here, especially in the in and out mode, which you'll definitely need for the total adjustment overall. It took me about 2 days of driving to get all the adjustments to my satisfaction, and now I'm perfectly comfortable in the vehicle, but keep in mind I'm the only one driving. If you're in a household where you're sharing with someone else and they start fiddling with things, you might have to start all over again, and that's kind of inconvenient. So be warned. I'm going to start off and just be up front. The audio controls on Hondas are simply substandard. No knobs whatsoever. Everything is finger touch. Even the volume, for crying out loud. Demonstrating this when you're sitting in a vehicle and not moving is easy. But when you're trying to do this finger touch, moving down the road at 60 miles per hour, bouncing around, it just doesn't work very well. Starting in mid-2018, all Hondas will have a volume knob, which is a slight improvement. Until then, we get this switch on the steering wheel to adjust the volume, which works fairly well. The climate controls are located below. You have a temperature, vents. But for any serious adjustments, you have to press that button and do everything else on the screen, which is more steps than you would need to if you just had more knobs. But it works okay. Just takes some getting used to. There's one feature on the Honda SI I really like. When you turn on the right turn signal to make a lane change, you don't need to look for the mirror. Just look in the camera. Comes in real handy at night. Gives a wild field of view too. And our last gripe, the rocker panels under the door are extremely wide, and dirt has a tendency to catch on here, which in turn gets on your pants, so you want to keep this clean. On the positive side, there is actually room for 2 people in the second row seating, but getting in and out of this narrow wedge is going to take some practice. If you're on Weight Watchers, don't plan on getting in and out very quick. We do get a nice large glove box, a nice console between the seats, and this is removable if you want to store more goodies. A well-placed and smooth shifting knob for choosing gears, and a sport mode. We'll be playing with that a little bit later. The gauge cluster is very easy to read. It gives useful information. And you can have the interior color any shade you want as long as it's black. I'm told there are others available, but I've never seen one. Lots of luck finding. And last but not least, the interior materials aren't the fanciest I've seen, but overall the quality workmanship's pretty good. Nothing to complain about. Before we do any serious driving, we're going to do what we always do in my videos, take the headlights out and see how they perform in the dark. So we'll get on that right now. I think it's dark enough. Let's check out these headlights and see how they perform. Oh, guess we'll have to turn them back on, huh? Here we have the low beam on a wall 100 feet away. Not the brightest light I've seen, but more than adequate spread. High beams, not bad. Here we have the high beams on the building 300 feet away with the chain link fence in between. Reaches out fairly well. Go to the low beam. Just barely reaches, but adequate enough. On backcountry roads, the brights light up signs up to a half mile away. Does slightly so even on low beams. Having a good set of headlights on a road like this is very important because we have all kinds of wildlife out here you don't want to hit. Everything from skunks, coyotes, to mountain lions. And there aren't any guardrails on the edge, so if you go over, you go down the cliff, and there won't be anything left when they come find you. So if you're driving on backcountry roads like this, these headlights will be more than adequate. This concludes our headlight testing, and I just want to add this is one of the roughest roads in the state. Really hard on cheap car suspensions, but this Honda SI is absorbing the bumps with ease. Yeah, the camera's bouncing around a bit, but trust me, the suspension is doing a great job of absorbing the impacts. I'm very, very impressed. And this car really knows how to take corners too, but we'll be doing more of that type of driving later on in the video. You're not going to see it on the video because I had my camera off, but as I turned a corner on the backcountry road, I collided with a big nasty skunk, and now this car has a very nasty smell to it. So we're going to take it on a 40-mile highway trip, see if we can air it out. And that will give us a chance to do a fuel economy test. So stay tuned. And for those interested, yes, we did reset the mileage computer to 0. And we will be cruising at 71 miles per hour. Well, here you go, 38.7 miles at 70 miles per hour, 41.1 mpg. Not bad. Now that we covered the headlight performance, the specifications, and interior, for the rest of this video we're going to concentrate on driving, which is what this car was made for. This car is pretty quick, reaching 0 to 60 in around 6.5 seconds, but we're not going to do that in the city here. We'll wait for that in the open road. In the meantime, let's check out the suspension on these speed bumps. 25 miles per hour, let's take it up to 30. Here comes a big one. Heard some thumping, but didn't feel anything. I'd say we passed. This is an excellent city car. Small size, powerful engine. Cut in and out of traffic with ease. Can't complain about that. Oh, you can always tell when happy hour is active. Sober up, buddy. When it comes to making high-tech engines, Honda's definitely the king. This little 1.5 turbo engine is smooth, quiet, powerful, economical. Definitely an engineering marvel. And I can't believe how fast this car is, especially when the engine spools up above 3,000 RPM. It really moves out. Nice brakes, by the way. For those who think this is nothing but Honda Civic that's been jazzed up with a bunch of fluff, they're definitely wrong. This is a true sports machine with the handling and quick steering to match. I think I'm going to tack on another couple hundred miles on this before I turn it in, because the more I drive it, the more I like it. Another happy hour drunk. I think it's time to get off the road. We're going to wrap up this test. In the conclusion, I have 3 things to point out. Number one of the reasons this vehicle is so quick and light is because it doesn't have a spare tire. All you get is a cheesy air pump and inflator kit. If you're taking out-of-town trips, do yourself a favor and get a real spare tire, even if it's a donut. If you cut a sidewall, this isn't going to help you. Number 2, these doors are big, or should I say long, so be careful when you swing them out in the parking lot. You're definitely going to hit the other guy's car if you're not careful. And number 3, the $25,000 price tag on this vehicle is a definite bargain. You're getting a complete out-of-the-box turnkey performance car. Doesn't really need anything except a driver and a tank of gas. And because it's a Honda, it's going to be running long after the warranty goes out, and you can't say that about a lot of other cars, especially some German brands I can think of. Like I said earlier, the more I drive this, the more I like it, and I'm definitely going to be sad I have to give it back. If you're looking for a quick snazzy car in the 25 grand price range, give this one a look.